hey, let's talk D&D, because your Changeling Bard sounds awesome. And that is exactly how my brother, who is like our DM and like just like a total D&D dork, and literally has like 150 characters that he's made or some crazy thing like that, because for a while he and one of his kids just went through a phase where they just like to make characters even if they were never going to use them. And that's how he says you should build a character. Build the character for who the character is and not what you think you need for that adventure. So I am totally going to tell him about your Changeling Bard, whose entire thing is built around, doing their magic show. He will love that. So that's awesome. And also, I will read something that you said in your thing. One guy was eaten by rats, but they were scary illusion monster nightmare rats, except for one actual real-life rat who followed along and is living inside the corpse. So I talked to him for a while. He's nice, but not helpful. It's the rat inside the corpse, and then you're like, he's nice, but not helpful. Love it. Love it. That sounds great. For a second there, I thought you were doing a campaign that we did, because we did a campaign where people were being killed by, they were in a town, it was overrun with fog, and anytime you went out into the fog, you were attacked by monsters. So I thought you were doing that, but then our thing was not nightmares. It was a lead up. It could be done as a one-shot, or you could, because there was like, an extra page. If it was like, do it as a one-shot, it's just monsters in the fog, whatever, or extend it and have it be the opening to this full campaign, which was, if you go out farther through the fog, you come out the other side in this other realm where vampires are real and you basically have to fight Dracula. We were so close to finishing. We did the campaign, we did it with the kids, and every time we played, a different adult would be the DM. So Jerry got to play a little, and Jesse got to play a little, and I did my first DMing on that campaign. And we were so close to finishing that campaign, and Tyler just lost interest, which is the same thing that happened on our original campaign, which was huge, and which we played for like a year and a half with the kids, and Jerry was like, you were literally 2 sessions away from finishing, and Tyler just lost interest. Like, Jerry did the best he could to keep kids interested, but Tyler was like 6 when he started that campaign, so he very much dumbed it down, but kidded it down, made it more interesting for kids. So anyways, I thought maybe the fog thing was the same one, but I don't think it was. But anyways, I love your character. I love the idea that she, she likes someone, so she won't do them any damage, but, she doesn't know those fairies, so stealing a horse from them is no big deal, because she doesn't know those guys. Kind of a chaotic good or chaotic neutral. Do you know what your thing is? Anyways, I'm going to tell you about some of my characters. So the first one that I played, actually, wait, how do I alphabetize these? Yeah, I don't want to go by oldest, I want to go A to Z. So the first one actually just says Addie Weston, and Jerry and I went through and made up stats for me as a person if I was a D&D character. And I just have to turn it into a photo file and send it to Jessie, and she's going to print it on her Cricut, and I'm just going to get like a plain red t-shirt and just have her put the stats on the back of the t-shirt. So my stats are Addie Weston is a stout halfling. My strength is only 9, so I have a -1. I would have a -1 roll to my strength, which is, yes, 8 for my dexterity, so I would have a -1 roll to my dexterity. Again, yes. but 15 for my constitution with a +2, because damn it, I have stood the test of time through a lot of shit, god damn it. 11 for my intelligence, which is just a +0, but that's about right, average for me, I'm average. 13 for my wisdom, because again, I've been through a lot of stuff, so I'm kind of wise, I got a +1 there. And 16 for my charisma with a +3 roll on charisma, because yes indeed. That is my strong constitution and charisma are my strong points, because I will live through anything, and I am charming. So one of these days I'm gonna stop being lazy and get around to turning those stats into a JPEG or whatever for Jessie to print on her Cricut and make a t-shirt. So that's kind of fun. If you like that idea, make Jen stats, and I'll print that for you and put it on a t-shirt and send you that too. I can do that for you for your birthday or Christmas or something, or just for the hell of it. Then I have Burke Lachlan. Burke Lachlan is a rock gnome who is obsessed with rocks. All of his stats were built around the fact that he is basically a geologist. And Jerry was like, these stats are not going to be useful for anything. And I was like, I don't care. This is his character. And he was like, all right. He's so obsessed with rocks to the point that the kids just kept calling him Professor Rock. This was a one I played with the kids. Professor Rock. Only if I'm looking at his character sheet with his name do I remember his name. In my head, he is Professor Rock, even though his name is Burke Lachlan. His name is Professor Rock. Bo Tacey. Bo Tacey is basically me in my own fantasy world. Bo Tacey was the character that I made for the very first campaign we started playing with the kids in like 2017 when they were like 6 and 8 years old. Bo Tacey is a human rogue. She has black hair with a blue streak in it. She wears kind of dark eye makeup. Her family was killed by marauders. Her mother hit her on the floorboards. Her family was killed. She was taken in by basically a rogue guild and raised with them, but then they got a new leader who started being kind of violent in their roguing, and she was like, no, my family were killed by marauders, y'all are turning into marauders, I'm out of here, and left, and was kind of wandering the streets living on her own when she heard about a job and was like, I will take that job, and a couple other people were like, I will take that job too, and that was how our guild formed. And that was the one where we were like 2 sessions away from finishing. But I love Bo Tacey, and we cosplayed. I had the kids, and we all dressed up for photos as our characters. So I will text you those, because those are cool. And that's Bo Tacey, and her personality is just me. She got the name Bo Poops in a Bucket, though, as her last name, Poops in a Bucket, because Tyler and I were arrested because I tried to pick someone's pocket, and I got a terrible roll. I always got terrible rolls. I was the worst at picking pockets, but I kept doing it. Adie has always been obsessed. As a kid, I wanted to be a pickpocket, so even though I was good at the roguing stuff, I was bad at the pickpocket, and I got arrested, and Tyler's character also got arrested because Jesse's character entered a baking contest, and it was obviously rigged, and he stood up and was like, this is rigged, and that's cheating, and blah, 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 and so his character got arrested for like getting in the magistrate's face about how the thing was rigged. So we were in prison, they brought us gruel, Tyler didn't eat it, I ate it, and then I was like, hey, Jerry, is there a bucket in the room? Like, what do we do for bathrooms? And he was like, there's a bucket. And I was like, great. And I said to Tyler's character, look away. Oh, that gruel's coming. Oh, no, I shouldn't have eaten. No. Oh, don't look, avert your eyes. And then I had diarrhea in the bucket right there in the jail cell. And I became known for the next, year of play as Bo Poops in a Bucket. Then I have Cassra. I'll come back to Cassra because she's interesting. Then I have Castiella Chesswinner, who is a variant Aasimar, so kind of a celestial, goddish, not monk person. Castiella Chesswinter. Get it? Instead of Winchester, it's Chesswinter. Castiella, it's Cass. That's a female version of Cass from Supernatural. I only played her once in a one-off, and then I've used her a few times when I've had characters die, and I needed a backup, and I brought her in a few things, so I did that. I have Flint Mudson, who is a hill dwarf, who's slightly taller than most dwarves, and therefore was invited to join knew how to ride horses. All of his, all of the dwarves in this city. It was a very eclectic city where there were lots of different types of people. But the dwarves were all like, you're so weird, you ride horses, that's so weird, dwarves don't do that. But there was a cavalry in that town, and so he was invited to join the cavalry, and he did that for several decades, and then broke out on his own and joined up with, he was a replacement character when one of my characters died. I just never quite got the feel of him. Hercules Smalls. I played her once. She's a Goliath barbarian who told wild stories about her time in a war, and all of the stories were completely made up. The truth of the matter was that she was like never even saw battle, like she was like the assistant to the general or something. But she always told these stories about, well, when I was in the war. She's a Goliath, and her name is Hercules Smalls instead of Hercules. Then Hercules Smalls. So there you go. Then I have another one that's a character Tyler and I were making together that I never played, but I kept them because they're a Goliath, and Tyler made up the name, and it's Hugh. His name is Hugh Mungus. His last name is Mungus. Hugh Mungus, because it's a Goliath. I love that. Then we did a Rabbit Folk game for Easter once. Jerry put it together. It was an Easter game. We had a bag of holding, and that was basically the Easter Bunny's bag that they pulled the eggs out of, and then this bag of eggs that went missing. And so this spring festival, the Festival of Eggs, where the eggs are, so one of the magistrate hides eggs all over town for the children, and it's a big festival of eggs. Apparently eggs was our livelihood in that town. The bag of holding has gone missing, and so the festival won't happen, and so what Rabbit Folk will come together to look for it. And so my name is Junius. Junius is actually the first name of Rabbit from the Winnie the Pooh, apparently. My name is Junius Rabbit. So that was my name. We were Rabbit Folk. It was very fun. It was a fun little one-off Jerry made. Then I have Coraline Sato. What did I play Coraline in? Oh, you know what? I played Coraline in the Vampire one. Jerry helped me make her. She's a variant human sorcerer with draconic bloodline. Coraline. It's Cora. It's the legend of Cora. Sato is the last name of her girlfriend in the show, and Coraline, Cora, Sato. I found a kind of a goth picture of Cora from Legend of Cora and used as my thing. And I basically was playing Cora, 14 years old, was the only one in her town who had the ability of all the elements, and anyone who has the ability of all the elements is told they have to be the protector of the town. And so when she turned 14, they were like, you're 14 now, you have to be the protector of the town, you can do all the elements. And she was like, yeah, I didn't want this, no one asked me if I wanted this, I'm out of here, and ran away, and then joined up with this group that ended up going to fight Dracula, which is kind of Cora's thing. She's like, I didn't ask to be the Avatar, I don't want to do this. So that was that. Lunas Dragonmark. If you have ever seen, oh God, it's by the people who made Avatar. It has the word dragon in it. The Dragon Prince. Yeah, that's what it's called. You should watch it. You would love it. The Dragon Prince is an awesome cartoon. And Jessie made a one-off after we had all watched it. All of us had watched it with the kids and everybody had watched it. So she made a one-off. And my character was named Lunas Dragonmark, and I was a shadow elf. So I was very good at hiding in shadows and whatnot. I have a character named Marston Sacknight, apparently is his last name. But Marston, he is a goth, his picture is a goth Stan from South Park. It's based on the Christmas episode of South Park where there are these cute Christmas critters in the woods, and Stan is helping them to have the best Christmas, and they keep talking about their Lord and Savior, and it turns out their Lord and Savior is the devil. And that was an episode of South Park, and Jessie made a child-appropriate version of one-off for us to play. And so I made the character of Stan, who is a sorcerer, a damn fierce sorcerer. Apparently I was a vampire. Matsuman. Oh, Peyton made that character for me for a one-off that he made for me and Chloe to play together because he was trying to get his little sister into D&D. Matsuman was a monk, and we all just called her Sue. Then I have Melody Amastasia. Melody is a high elf bard who was basically having sex with everyone, and her father was a lord, told her she had to settle down, pick a person, get married, knock it off, and she ran away, and she always says to people, I had to run away. They were trying to tell me who I couldn't love. Like, just because I was dating my cousin, they told me I was a disgrace. And she always brought up how of all the people she was having sex with, at least one of them was a cousin. Melody is terrible at being a bard. She worships the music of Avril Lavigne, and I always had Avril Lavigne ready to play. If I rolled a good roll, I could push the button, and Avril Lavigne would start singing in my place, I rolled a 20, she's awesome, Avril Lavigne, here, play. I never rolled a 20, I always rolled, 5 or less, so when I would roll terrible, Jerry would say, you have to do it, so I had the lyrics pulled up, I had to sing Avril Lavigne, it was absolutely ridiculous, and I always did terrible. I also tried to flirt with people all the time, because she was constantly trying to hook up with everybody. There were 2 other members in my party. We were trying to steal something. It was my job to distract people, but my singing was so terrible that they kept asking me to stop singing. So if I did a good performance, it would have been a good distraction while my buddy stole the thing. Or if I could flirt appropriately with the guard and distract the guard while my buddy stole. But my flirting was terrible. My singing was terrible. So finally I said, Jerry, I would like to try one more thing as a distraction. And I ripped open my shirt and flashed my boobies. And he was like, roll with advantage because it's a room full of dudes. So, we know that. So I rolled with advantage. I got a 20. And everyone was staring at me while my friend stole the thing. And then my friends grabbed me and dragged me out of the place, going, we're sorry about her, we'll take her out of here, while my shirt was open and my tatas were out. That's Melody. So, Piper Lampwick. Piper Lampwick is, Lampwick is Pinocchio's buddy who convinces him to go to the place where they all turn into donkeys. But it's Piper instead of Peter, because he is actually Peter Pan. He is a Marca Shadow Elf, warlock. He has made a deal with a higher god that he will take. So it's a fae. So there's a fae who lives in the fae realm and doesn't want civilization intruding on the fae realm, and so travels around with this group of children who act like they're a circus and go into these civilized place and then do pranks and destroy things and cause wreak havoc and everything because they're mad about civilization encroaching on the Fey realm, in exchange for basically an extremely long life, like I'm really like 130 years old. I have to take children and send them to the Fey realm to be part of this circus of the lost children, like the lost boys, but the lost children. I made up this whole backstory. I made up all these any backstory, I made it up. So Piper owes children. So what Piper does is goes around, because Piper was an orphan, and then he was on a pirate ship with Captain Hook. He's always telling stories about the pirate ship with the captain, and it was totally a crocodile. They ate the captain's hand, not something Piper did. No. So Piper finds orphans and abandoned children like he was, and offers them the chance to go to the Fey realm and be part of this circus, and they'd be well cared for, they'd be well taken care of. Everyone in his group keeps saying how he's a kidnapper. It's a long running joke about how all my characters are orphans or people who kidnap children, or orphans who kidnap children. Like, it's a whole thing. They keep saying kidnap, and I keep saying, no, he gives them the choice. He offers them the choice, and he picks abused children. One time we had, like, downtime. Jerry was like, okay, so you have a week before the benefactor comes back and offers you another job. What do your characters want to do anything in this week? And some were like, I go shopping, I go to my temple to pray. I said, I want to find a kid who seems like they're neglected and offer them a chance to. So I go into someone's house. I could fly. I had a fly spell. I also had a little pixie, Tinkerbell, that was my familiar. Go into the house and like flying over the kid's bed, going, do you want a chance to get out of here? You're in a terrible situation. Let me take you to the kid freaks out, starts screaming. I rolled terribly. It was awful. I get chased out of the house by the father. And everyone's like, you're trying to kidnap. And I was like, I offered him a choice. I have Rockwell L. Hilda. Okay, so this is a character I'm playing right now. I'm in 2 campaigns right now. One of them is a pirate campaign, but our captain lost our ship gambling. And so we are pirates without a ship, and we are on land trying to do jobs to earn enough money. And everywhere we go, we're like, we're pirates. And people are like, you're mercenaries. You don't have a ship. You're on land. And we're like, pirates can go on land. You don't know. We're pirates. Don't call us mercenaries. Yeah, my character was supposed to be very competent, and Jerry's character was supposed to be, he's the captain, was supposed to be very incompetent, and somehow it got switched, and I am basically playing Smee from Peter Pan. I am the biggest kiss ass. I come up with ideas and tell everyone that the captain did them. Like, it's the captain's idea. Totally it was. And the captain has an idea. I tell him it's great. Someone else has an idea. I say, the captain said that 5 minutes ago. It was his idea first, even if it wasn't. Jerry's character is a bumbling idiot, but he is very charismatic. So he is basically playing Hook. I'm playing Smee. We got 2 other guys in our group. One of them who is missing a hand or missing a whole arm and has a cannon for an arm instead. And he has to use a spell to shoot something out of it. Because it's actually a spell, but he was like, can I say it's an attachment to my fake arm? And our DM was like, yes, you can, as long as you say that you have to use a spell to shoot out of it, because you do have to use a spell slot to do this. So, but you could say it's an attachment, sure, so that's fun. We are almost at the end of that campaign, and we do not have near enough money to buy the ship. The captain keeps telling everyone we have a ship picked out, and it's called the Titanic, and it's supposed to be unsinkable, and as soon as we have enough money, we're going to buy that. But Jessie's our DM, and she's already setting us up for another one for that, so it's very nice. I'm about to go on vacation on another Disney cruise, and if Smee is on this cruise, he was on the last cruise. If Smee is on this cruise, I can't wait to tell him that I'm playing a D&D character based off of him. I know it's just a guy in a suit, but I don't care. Then there's well, let's skip down. They're the Sparky Inferno. Sparky is like an 8-year-old dragonborn. This is a set of games that you can play, a bunch of one-offs. There's like 6 one-offs. And we played a bunch of them with the kids, where your characters are actually children. And all of the things are like, one of them, a troll attacks in the middle of a birthday party and attacks the town and steals, I don't even know what it steals, and the adults are all freaking out about the troll and what to do, and the kids sneak off and follow the troll, and it turns out the troll just wanted birthday cake. It never had birthday cake before, so we befriend the troll. It's stuff like that. Another one, a guy in town, his sheep have all gone missing. We have to go round up the sheep. And they're in the dark forest, and we're earning money to, I don't know, we're earning money for something, like we're going around asking people if they have odd jobs, and he's like, yes, round up my sheep, but they went into the dark forest. And so we play children. Very cute. Then I have a character, you're going to love this, a half-elf druid whose whole thing is healing. So I was the healer of the group. My first name was Weaver. Yes, named after Dr. Weaver. My last name is Stringfield, which is the last name of the actress who plays Susan Lewis. So Weaver Stringfield, named after ER people, was the healer of the group. So I thought you'd like that. And then we have Sarabi Kamimi. Sarabi is the character I've been playing since April 2020, when Jerry started Let's Start a COVID group, and we're still playing together. It's a tiefling paladin from the Church of Kellavor, which is about life and death and the circle of life. Sarabi is the name of Mufasa's wife from The Lion King. Kabibi is something from that as well. I can't remember what. But anyway, so I'm Sarabi. I was also an orphan, was taken in by some priests at a temple of Kellavor and raised that way. So obnoxious that eventually the other priest told my adopted father that I needed to go out in the world and spread the word of Kellavor because they needed me to get the hell out the temple. So I'm going around spreading the word. Now I'm fighting the cult of the dragon with these people. When I say a prayer, I either have the circle of life, and I say the words of that, or Don't Fear the Reaper. That's one of them. I have a couple of songs pulled up that are my prayers. I think I'm the leader of the group. I am not. I kind of racist for a tiefling because I just don't know any other races, so I always ask the most inappropriate questions. I'm a lot. Sarabi is a lot. We'll put it that way. Sarabi is a lot. She thinks very highly of herself and that she knows best and that everyone else needs to hear the word of her God. And she's a lot. But then there's a character, Casser Brandywine. So we were in this town, Flan, right? Jerry's playing an NPC named Cassera. He's the DM, so he's playing this Cassera. She's a librarian at an archive. We had to go to her, get, information. I decided I'm going to have Sarabi try to court her. I'm like, Sarabi has feelings for this little halfling named Casser Brandywine. She sends her flowers, and she gets all stuttery. And Sarabi is very bold and forward, but she got all stuttery around Cassera. And Jerry was like, are you trying to court her? And I was like, yes. And he was like, I'm going to have you start rolling some dice. There's like an earthquake or something, and I try to push her out of the way of a falling bookcase, and I end up breaking her arm. It all goes badly. The whole courting thing goes terrible. In the end, my character gets turned into a statue, and I'm trying to think of another character to play, and Jerry says, listen, Cassera is all done in the game, like you're done with her as an NPC. Do you want to turn her into a character and you can play her? So I take over this little halfling librarian person, and she decides to help them because she kind of thought it was cute that Sarabi had a little crush on her, and she had a little crush back, and she never told her that she had a crush. and she feels bad, and she wants to help Sarabi's friends, because Sarabi's a statue now, and maybe she can find a way to turn Sarabi back. So she joins the group. Eventually, Sarabi does get turned back, because finally, Catherine leaves, and she's just not clicking with the group. What reason would a librarian have to go on this big quest? I know, Giles would, but Catherine didn't, so Catherine leaves, and I start playing someone else. But when they turn Sarabi back from stone, there's a year in between the end of that campaign and the next one that we started, so there's a year's time. And Jerry's like, when we come back, if you want to say you learned a language or a skill during that time or whatever, just tell me what you want your character to do. I had Kasra and Sarabi get married. That's right. I had two of my characters marry each other. And Jerry said, what is it that you want to do during your time? And I said, I want to learn bow and arrow and become a sharpshooter, and also this. And I sent to the group a actual invitation. I made up an invitation to the wedding. So I sent them all an invitation to the wedding. So Jerry was like, we are not role-playing your entire wedding. And I was like, nope. And now Sarabi is back in the group. I'm playing her again, and she always tells people, gosh, we keep getting farther and farther away from my home. My wife is waiting there for me. Or we get to a town and she'll say, do you have a way to send mail? I need to send this letter to my wife. And every time she says to, my wife, everyone else in the group goes, oh, you're married? Oh, you're married? I didn't know you were married. And I'm like, you were at my wedding. You gave me the silverware. You got me actual silverware. You were at my wedding. Oh, really? I don't remember that. Huh? And the next time I'm like, oh, something. So talks about her wife all the time. And then someone will be like, here's something that was transcribed. And she'll go, oh, my wife transcribes things. She transcribes stuff for her library. Oh, and also in her free time, she transcribes romance stories. Yeah, so Kasra transcribes erotica, basically, in her free time. And Sarabi's always like, I have a few in my bag. She's offering the other ladies in the group, would you like to read some? They're really good. My wife transcribes them. Oh, your wife? Oh, you're married? So that's Sarabi and Kasra. I had two of my characters get married. There you go. Those are all my characters. I paid for unlimited slots on D&D for character building because I couldn't bear to delete anybody, even if I didn't think I'd ever play them again. Once I got up to 6 characters, and then I had to make another character, and I was like, but then I'll have to delete someone. I get so attached to my characters, like they're my babies. So I paid for unlimited slots on D&D Beyond. I only have 19 slots filled out of unlimited, and Jerry says that's a disgrace because he's got well over 100, and so does my cousin Jack, and they're both like, 19, you have unlimited, get to work making more. But those are my babies, and right now I'm playing Sarabi in The Cult of the Dragon, Rise of Tiamat, and Rockwell as my pirate in the pirate adventure. So and the next pirate thing, we have a treasure map. We just found a treasure map, and I said to Jessie, are you setting us up for another game? And she was like, yes, I'm setting us up for a one-off that we can play with Jerry's home this summer, because the 2 other members of that group happen to live in Michigan, so they can come. Our other group, our Cult of the Dragon group, has people all, like, North Carolina, Iowa, and Canada. Like, that won't work. But, for our pirate group, we can all play in person this summer, so Jesse gave us a treasure map that's a setup to a one-off that we can all do. Whether or not we will be back on the Titanic is another question, because I don't know that we're going to have enough money to buy a ship. We are almost at the end of the campaign, and we are nowhere near enough money to buy a ship. Certainly not the Titanic, which I hear is unsinkable. So anyways, I am so happy that you're playing D&D now. We can talk about that shit. That's awesome. There is a Dungeons & Dragons cartoon, and I Hold on, I'm going to search it. I own it on DVD, so I've never thought to look where it is. Hold on. Dungeons and Dragons cartoon streaming. Let's see if I can. The complete series is apparently Dungeons and Dragons, the complete animated series, is apparently on YouTube. Also, there's the movie, the Chris Pine movie. It's fun, and you should watch it. So if you can find the Dungeons and Dragons, not the